think culturally, it's an issue that's not been really explored in Africa, and I think it's something we need to go out in the community. I keep talking about. When you talk about disability, most African people don't really understand what you mean by disability because they feel you're talking about someone with physical disability. But the disability, which I've come to understand, goes a long way from being physical appearance. We have mental health, we have psychosocial disability, we have physical as well, and we have chronic health, which are all grouped into one form of disability or the other. And I think it's an area which has been shined away by African people, which we have less understanding of. Though we have the United Nations Convention on Rights of People with Disability, is an area that has not really been explored well. There's a cultural responsibility, especially for those that are elderly, people with disability that are elderly especially in the African context and African community. We younger ones are trained based on cultural backgrounds to take care of our elderly ones. So we don't send them to care home or send them to special homes. It's part of our culture to do their personal cares for them, take care of them, give them, make sure they are having their medication. And the impact on this is for we younger people is the stress, and at times we get traumatized by their disability, like seeing your loved one fading away in your sight because of a disability. So when they all came together, what they did was called Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That is, we all came together universally to make one human right and to declare that all human beings are born free and equal. Every human being must have that right, irrespective of their age, nationality, sex, religion, language, or even whether they are gay, homosexual, or bisexual. Under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, there are 30 articles on it. Article 1 that says all human beings are born free and equal. So there is no slave trade, which was experienced in Africa. You are free and we are all equal. Article 21 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That is, we have the right to choose our own government and express our political views. So it's part of it is in the Australian Constitution. So part of this right are also in the Australian common law. That is the law that is used domestically for guiding people in Australia. So the mere fact that you have a disability does not mean you shouldn't be treated equally. They shouldn't say because you have a disability, you shouldn't work. They shouldn't say because I'm an African woman, I cannot be a manager in a company. They shouldn't say because I'm an African woman, I can't hold a higher position in my company. They shouldn't say because I'm an African woman, then Africans should be limited to care jobs. We must be treated equally in Australia as the way everybody is treated, because that is our human right and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that is signed by all states and is enforceable in their domestic constitution. You must all understand that you are all born free and equal in dignity and in rights. You are endowed with reason and conscience. Because of that, we must act towards one another in the spirit of brotherhood. That's Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. For people with disability, mental health, physical, psychosocial disability, it is enshrined in the United Nations Convention on Rights of People with Disability. Irrespective of I'm an Edo person or I'm a Yoruba woman, we must be treated equally. The right to say I want to vote for this government, I don't want to vote for this government. The right to say because I have a disability, I can be a lawyer. Even if you are married, your husband shouldn't take it away from you as a woman. And the man shouldn't take it away from the wife. Everybody, you, Australian citizens, every other citizens from outside. And that right is for everyone. And we are all protected by laws. We are all protected by laws and organizations. The Australian Human Rights Commission is the one that is guiding human rights matters in Australia. So when you see issues of discrimination, unfair treatment, or they violate any rights in the article that's on your Universal Declaration of Human Rights, then you can make complaints to the Human Rights Commission and say this right is being violated. The same thing in Article 4 of the Nigerian Constitution of your communities. There is fundamental human right there. Part of those rights are right to life, right to freedom of religion, freedom of expression. That is, I have a right to political rights, right to vote for who I want to vote for. The same thing in Australia. It doesn't matter that you're Africans. You have equal rights with Australians to vote for the party of your choice and to bring in the government you want. It doesn't matter if you have a disability or you have mental health. If anybody stops you, there are people you can complain to. Advocacy organization, Human Rights Commission, and say these things are being inflicted upon and it is wrong. I hope when we all go out into the community, we make other members of the community understand they also have rights and that we shouldn't infringe on those rights. You need to know your audience when you're advocating. Most of these communities I go for to give training on advocacy, I say something, I said, most of them, from my experience of what I've seen, most of them, the major problem they have is speaking up for themselves. Even Australian citizens, other communities, Burma community, Filipinos, Chinese, Vietnamese, the problem they have is speaking out for themselves. And one good thing we Africans have is we don't have that problem. Because anywhere, any day, a 2 years old African girl, we speak out for ourselves.
Unfortunately, most people in terms of disability see the physical side of it. But we in our own community have actually looked at it and know that there are some hidden aspect of disability most people don't see. Our basic community as a whole, we will say about 70% are mostly old age. Leadership in communities like this is very difficult to get people to take over from you. That we also see as a disability to our own, not only for our community, but the emerging community. The government itself does not know the impact of what getting the right mix of leadership in this emerging community is all about. It's one of the most crucial and most difficult part of the whole thing of being a community leader, is for you to have the appropriate leadership. That's the cycle of life. You are born as a child, you get old and you become a child again for people to look after you. Yeah. That's the way our culture is. But in the Western world, it's a different thing. People are paid to look after you. We are trying to advocate for something, not just for Edo community, but we want to use it as a championship-based platform for us to move forward and help the bigger African community as a whole. And that information is what we want people like ADEC to help us so that we can actually get the help of government through funding and all necessary means in order to put this information right. So, and although I know the government look at the statistical number of percentage in terms of other communities and all the rest, but we shouldn't be neglected because we are a core workforce. That's the reason why they don't see us complain a lot, because we tend to have the economic power to solve our individual problem. But now that we are getting into a collective approach where collectively we're going to be having the same problem and that we become the children of government, how will the government understand our problem if we don't actually start having the action plan now?
My name is Timmy. I am from Nigeria. I came to Australia last year, that's January. Nigerian people, they are very friendly people, and actually we don't enjoy the same facilities as Australia. There are lovely people in Australia too because of a lot of culture. I've learned that human rights in Australia is everything, in the sense that as much as we have a lot of people living in Australia, many ethnic groups compared to Nigeria, every one of them have respect for each other because they are bound by the law that you must respect other people's rights. And I've learned to advocate for anyone because I'm also an individual support worker. I've learned to advocate for anyone that I see that maybe they are less privileged to talk, so I have to be their mouth. So if you can speak up for someone, they can be a referral for you to help other people in the community. And so it's just about everyone living in a very peaceful and happy community. I heard about NDIS before, but today I learned about the process, the way to plan. Compared to Nigeria, I can really commend Australia about their scheme about disability, because there's a lot of discrimination about disability people in Australia, in Nigeria, compared to Australia. Australia, I can say Australia government are really doing well about the disability scheme, because they try to give them the same rights that we able people have too. It's not a crime to be a disability. People view disability in different ways, but it can be, so the circumstance can happen to anybody at any time, at any point in your life, and you will not like to be people to discriminate against you if you have the disability. So you put yourself in the shoe of the people that are in disability, and it balance the right that if you have disability or you're not, you still enjoy the same right. But if it is Nigeria, if you are disabled, you can lose your job. In Nigeria, is basically you and your family. The government are doing little about the disability scheme, and even the education that is given to people in Australia, that you dare not discriminate against people that are disabled, because the way you view them as you can be in that position.